Hello, and welcome to my Business 110D instructional video. My name is Ian Clark, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to tell a joke. Please note that this lesson does not cover how to take a joke, because that is impossible to teach. About me, I have loved stand-up comedy for as long as I can remember, and performed for around a year until 2 kids and a global pandemic rendered my life tragically unfunny. But I'm here with you today, and my children are asleep, so let's get started. Every joke that has ever been funny can be distilled down into 2 parts, and those parts are the setup and the punch. The job of the setup is to cause the listener to create a story in their mind. It must imply something that nudges the listener gently in one direction and lets them fill in all the blanks. That is the purpose of the setup. Following the setup is the punch, and the job of the punch is to yank the listener suddenly and violently in a totally different direction in a way they weren't expecting, although not literally, because there's nothing funny about a neck injury. Let's go through an example so you can see both parts of the joke at work. The setup of this particular joke goes like this. I am a dog person. What do you think about when you hear this statement? Perhaps you picture me playing with a dog or cuddling a dog, or maybe I have several dogs. Maybe you take it one step further and picture me floundering in a sea of dogs, which is very funny on its own, but not the joke. The point is that you've told yourself a story, and that story is this. That guy likes dogs. You may have also noticed that this story is quite short, and that's a good thing. Giving your audience too much information in the setup can make the punch hard to follow, and as a comedian, you should leave it to your audience to do the imaginative heavy lifting. Finally, when you add the punch, the whole joke goes, I am a dog person, and my advice is, never party with mad scientists. Now, if that joke was good, you picked up on the fact that I wasn't talking about how much I like dogs. And if it wasn't good, let me explain it to you, because everybody knows that's how you fix a joke. The punch goes, and my advice is, never party with mad scientists, and this causes the listener to abandon their story immediately. Now, instead of being a guy who likes dogs, I've been surgically or genetically altered into a man-dog hybrid. Perhaps you're picturing John Candy in Spaceballs. I am. In any event, it's a jarring turn from the expected, and that is exactly what funny is made of. Knowing the basic structure of a joke is essential, but the challenge comes in finding the premise. How do you even decide what the joke is about? When coming up with the idea for a joke, it can be helpful to draw on your life experiences rather than just making something up. Think of things that you find outlandish or funny or fascinating. If you think something's funny, chances are someone else does too. In the case of the joke that I told earlier, the idea came from a Halloween costume, which consisted of a business suit, a briefcase, and a dog mask. A dog person. I found the premise amusing, decided there was a joke in there, and spent a few hours teasing it out. One final tip is that each of your jokes should stand alone as a modular, prepackaged unit, and you should avoid jokes that require too much context. If you have many small jokes, you can mix and match them to suit your audience, linking them together to create a cohesive set that never goes more than a few seconds without a laugh. This, to me, is the most challenging and rewarding part of comedy. These formulas aren't all that's involved in telling funny jokes. Things like timing, knowing your audience, and body language are critical when trying to make someone laugh, but those are more advanced topics that are outside the scope of this tutorial. For now, if you want to make someone laugh, remember what we talked about. First, think of a twist, such as a play on words or something in your life that you find ridiculous. Then, set up the listener to assume one thing and knock them down with the punch. Again, not literally. And finally, keep your jokes short and independent of other jokes or too much outside information. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Now go out in the world and spread a little laughter.